Hey writers, welcome back to Writers Workshop. So I've been hard at work on my information stories, and I know you have too. The other day, I let my neighbor read another one of my stories, and this story was called All About Dogs, and it was all about the information and facts about dogs because I love dogs and I'm an expert. So I wanted to teach my readers about dogs, and I handed it to her to read, and after she read it, she asked me, okay, I've got to know, what in the world are bones sticks? And I thought, what are you talking about? Can you show me what you're talking about? Well, she turned to the page that I had that was all about things dogs like to play with. And when she pointed out the sentence, I realized I had written, dogs like bone sticks. What I'd really meant to write was dogs like bones and sticks. I totally forgot to write the word and. And friends, I have to tell you, I had reread my book multiple times to check it, and I just somehow never noticed that confusing part of the book, and I didn't realize that I'd left out that word. It wasn't until someone else read my book and helped me learn that I still had some confusing parts that I just needed to make some minor tweaks to. And that made me realize how important it is to get in the habit of having someone else check your book and having someone else read your book to make sure that it'll make sense to a reader. And if it doesn't, no big deal, we can fix it up right away. So friends, today I want to teach you that writers of teaching books, writers of information books, need readers who will help point out places that don't make sense so they can make their writing better. They're not doing it to be mean, they're helping you and they're being a good friend by showing you ways that you can make your writer even better. And it might be parts that don't make sense because there's some missing words or information, or they might not make sense because there's parts added that just don't belong. So writers, I was wondering if you could be my readers today and help me see if there's any parts of my story that don't make sense. It might not make sense because information has been left out that the readers really need to know, or maybe it's because things have been added that really don't belong in the story. So let me read my story to you. At the start of every day in first grade, first graders take out their homework folders, hang up their coats, and read the morning message. It tells what will happen in the day. That takes 5 minutes. It tells that lunch is hot dogs. I love hot dogs. One time, I dropped one and it looked like blood on the floor because of the ketchup. Then the first graders look at the schedule for the day and learn what the first part of the day is. Reading is usually first. So that was my teaching book, all about what it looks like for a day in first grade. And after you heard that story, I want you to think, was there something that I need to add or something I need to take out of the story of my teaching book? That's right. When I went off on a whole tangent talking about how much I love hot dogs and then telling a story about the time I dropped one on the floor, that just doesn't belong, does it? So I decided that I need to cross it out, and that's okay. Writers are constantly making revisions, adding things, and taking things out. Think of it like this. Have you ever added colors together and mixed them together, and maybe you started with yellow and blue and it made a nice pretty green, but then you got really excited and you started adding in more and more colors, and then all of a sudden you realized, ooh, I've made a messy color that looks nothing like I thought. And once you've done that and you've mixed all those colors together, can you take them out? No, because it's paint. But guess what? Our writing is different because we can add things into our writing, but if we need to take it out, it's not a big deal. We don't have to throw away the paper and start over. All we have to do is cross it out. Sometimes when you're making those revisions to make your pieces great, you realize that you need to add something, or maybe you need to subtract and take it out, and that is okay. We can do that in our writing. Thankfully, it's not like paint where it is what it is. We are allowed to take things out and allowed to add things constantly to our stories as we continue to work on them. So friends, today I want you to try to have someone else read your work if you can at your house. Maybe a grown-up, maybe a sibling, or if you're in class, maybe one of your classmates can help read your work. And I want you to ask them to spot places where you can add more details, or if perhaps there's some things that don't belong in the story and they need to be subtracted. They need to be taken out. And friends, sometimes it helps to take a pause from writing our books and to put the book down and to just practice teaching. So you're not even going to look at your book, but you're going to practice teaching about your topic out loud. This can also help remind you of things that you can add to your book or maybe things that don't belong. And it's a great opportunity for you to try to practice in front of someone and try to teach them all about your topic. Then, when you go sit down to work on your book, you're going to be refreshed with all new ideas of things you can include and maybe some things that you need to take out because they just don't belong in your teaching book. All right, friends. Well, I hope you're excited to reread your work or work on a new story and think of things that you should add or things that you subtract. And I really hope that you're able to partner up with someone to look at your work and to be a good friend and show you ways that you can make your writing even better and make even more sense to your readers. All right, friends, it's your turn. Writers go write.